making a living stop you from building a life. John Wooden. People often throw themselves into the relentless grind of earning a living, like boats swept along by a powerful current. Their oars keep moving without pause, yet they forget where they are truly headed. Earning a living is necessary, like lighting a fire to stay warm. But if we only focus on feeding the flames and forget to gaze at the night sky, that warmth loses all its meaning. The human mind easily falls into the trap of justified busyness. We work more, run faster, accumulate more, and convince ourselves that everything is for the sake of a better life. But ironically, it is precisely while we are tirelessly preparing for that life that we unwittingly miss it altogether. Sunset evenings are traded for numbers on a screen. Family laughter is postponed with just one more thing, and childhood dreams slowly gather dust like a forgotten book left on the shelf. This is not to deny the value of hard work, but to remind us of the delicate balance between simply existing and truly living. Earning a living helps us survive, but building a life is what gives that survival true meaning. One person can work 12 hours a day and still feel empty inside, while another, who knows when to pause to listen to the wind, speak a kind word, or chase a small passion, feels their life as rich and full as a garden in bloom. Psychologically, humans need a sense of meaning, just as trees need sunlight. If we have only money but no joy, we are like someone drinking seawater. The more we drink, the thirstier we become. Work should be a bridge, not a prison. Let it support your life. Never let it claim your entire sky. When we learn to pause and truly live, even ordinary days can become a vibrant masterpiece where work, love, dreams, and joy blend together like colors that create the meaning of a lifetime. Perhaps one day, even such hardships will bring joy. Virgil. When people are in the midst of hardship, the mind often sees life through a fog of exhaustion. Every step feels heavy, every challenge like a boulder on the shoulders. Strangely, time does not only wash away the pain, but also transforms its meaning. Today's hardships, when viewed from a distance far enough, often look like the slopes we have already climbed on a long journey. While climbing, we gasp for breath, our legs tremble, and we only wish the path would flatten out again. But once we stand at the summit and turn to look back, we cannot help but smile. It was that very slope that made our steps stronger, and the scenery behind us more beautiful. Humans have the ability to reshape memories. Experiences that once exhausted us gradually become quiet sources of pride, like calluses on a laborer's hands, painful and raw at first, but later, a mark of strength. When we recall the difficult days we have overcome, we no longer feel the same weight we carried then. Instead, we sense the true value of our growth. Hardship is like a stern teacher. In the classroom of time, it offers no comfort, yet it teaches lessons that ease could never impart. Perhaps one day, sitting in a quiet afternoon and remembering the times that nearly broke us, we will realize something warm and profound. Those very hardships silently wove strength, perseverance, and depth into our souls. And when we truly understand that, we will smile, not because the difficulties were ever easy, but because we were strong enough to turn them into a beautiful part of our lives. We cannot erase all the sadness in the world, but we can choose to live in joy. Joseph Campbell. The world is like a vast sky. There are days of brilliant sunshine, but also heavy gray clouds that roll in. People often carry a quiet illusion that happiness will only arrive once every trace of sadness vanishes. Sadness is a natural part of life, just as darkness is inseparable from light. No one can travel the world, extinguishing every tear. Just as no one can command the sky to allow only sunshine, what lies within our power is not the amount of sadness that exists, but but the way we choose to hold our hearts amid it all. Some people live like those standing in the rain, yet staring only at the mud puddle at their feet, so the entire sky in their eyes appears gray. But others, even while the rain falls, lift their heads and see the droplets sparkling like crystals. The ability to keep a bright lamp glowing in the soul even when the wind rises. When we learn to nurture joy from the smallest things, a kind word, a peaceful morning, a moment to breathe deeply, we are building ourselves an inner sanctuary. The outside world may be chaotic, but our inner life can still be tended like a garden. We cannot stop weeds from growing everywhere, but we can care for the flowers in our own garden. And when those flowers bloom fully, their fragrance not only soothes our hearts, but also drifts to everyone around us. Then we realize a simple yet profound truth. Joy is not the reward of a perfect world, but the courageous choice of a soul that knows how to love life. The greatest danger for most of us is not that our aim is too high and we miss it, but that it is too low and we reach it. Michelangelo, fear of failure makes them shrink their dreams, like a bird voluntarily folding its wings out of worry that the sky is too wide. When goals are low enough, we reach them easily, but that very moment hides a silent danger. We believe we have succeeded, when in truth, we have only stepped into the entrance of our true potential. People are often bound by the fear of being hurt. We choose goals that feel safe to protect our self-esteem, like a climber who decides to only walk around the base of the hill to make sure they never fall. But the paradox of growth is this: it is the high mountains that truly strengthen our legs. A big goal, even if not yet reached, still pulls us farther than yesterday's version of ourselves. Like a star in the night sky, we cannot touch it, but its light guides our path. Meanwhile, a goal that is too low is like a golden cage. We reach it quickly and feel safe, yet slowly lose the longing to soar. Life then becomes flat and predictable, without the thrill of challenge or the excitement of breaking through limits. And the greatest regret is not that we failed, but that we never truly tested our own strength. Set goals big enough to make your heart flutter with a touch of anxiety, and your legs work harder every single day. Because sometimes what makes us grow is not reaching the summit, but the journey of climbing it, where every step expands the boundaries of who we are. And when we look back, we will realize that the greatest value of a lofty goal is not whether we achieved it, but the person we became on the way to it. The measure of intelligence is the ability to change. Albert Einstein. Intelligence is not a stone statue standing still, but a river always in motion. Many people still mistakenly believe that being intelligent means knowing a great deal and holding tightly to what they have already learned. But in reality, knowledge kept locked away like a sealed box will sooner or later grow stale. True intelligence is like a door, always ready to open to new winds of understanding. The ability to change is the hallmark of a flexible mind. When people dare to re-examine their own thoughts and admit that yesterday they may have been wrong, they prove that their intelligence is still alive. On the other hand, a mind that refuses to change is like a stagnant pond. It may look clear at first, but without flowing water, it will slowly turn murky. The hardest thing is not learning something new, but letting go of the old when it no longer serves us. That requires humility, courage, and an endless curiosity about the world. Truly intelligent people are never imprisoned by their own beliefs. They are like travelers on the long road of knowledge. At every stage, they are willing to adjust their map and change direction if they realize the old path no longer leads where they want to go. That very flexibility turns intelligence into a living force rather than a mere storage vault. Intelligence is measured not only by what we know today, but by who we are capable of becoming tomorrow. When people keep their thinking supple, they are like bamboo in the wind. They can bend to adapt, and that is why they never break. And it is that ability to change that makes intelligence a living journey, always opening new horizons for humanity. I always wanted to become someone, but now I realize I should have been more specific. Lily Tomlin. When we are young, many of us carry a vague desire. We want to become someone special, like a person standing in a vast square, saying they want to go somewhere far away. That intention holds energy and hope, yet it lacks a compass. And in life, vagueness can sometimes be more dangerous than failure, because it makes us walk a long way without truly moving closer to what we desire. People are often drawn to grand concepts: success, fame, value, meaning. But if those concepts are not made specific, they are like beautiful clouds in the sky. We can admire them and dream, but we cannot step onto them and move forward. When someone says they want to become someone, they are expressing a longing to be recognized, to live meaningfully, to leave a mark on the world. However, that longing only gains real power when it is given clear shape. Become who, in what way, and for what reason. Dreams need form, a seed that only carries the idea. Become a tree is not enough. It needs soil, light, direction to grow, and time. Likewise, people need more than desire. They need clarity about their path. When the goal is clearly defined, the energy within us no longer scatters like light through mist, but focuses like sunlight through a lens strong enough to ignite action. Not everyone fails because they lack dreams. Often, they simply lack clarity about those dreams. And when people begin to define exactly who they want to become, life suddenly feels like a road emerging from the fog. Not necessarily easier, but at least we know where we are heading. Any time is the right time to do what is right. Martin Luther King Jr. We often wait for a perfect moment when circumstances are more favorable, when others support us more, when we feel safe enough to act. That so-called perfect moment is usually just a clever excuse fear uses to postpone courage. What is right, like sunlight, does not need to wait for the sky to be completely clear before it can shine. People sometimes stand at the crossroads between convenience and integrity. Convenience is easy and smooth, like a flat road that requires little thought. What is right often feels like an uphill path. It demands we step forward with willpower and responsibility. Yet it is precisely in those moments that a person's true character is revealed. Even a small right action is like a stone thrown into a lake. The ripples of its influence spread farther than we imagine. What is right does not depend on time or circumstances. It depends on the awakening of conscience. When we wait for a more favorable day to do what is right, we are unconsciously handing the power of our moral decisions over to external conditions. But when we understand that any moment can be the right time, we reclaim mastery over ourselves. At that point, doing what is right is no longer a heavy sacrifice, but the natural expression of a mature soul. Life may be complex, but the moral compass of a human being is very simple. It always points in one direction, like a magnet, always seeking north. And when we dare to follow that direction, whether early or late, whether easy or difficult, we will realize that the best time to do what is right is not tomorrow, but the very moment we recognize it. What you do today can improve all your tomorrows. Ralph Marston. Many people view the future as a distant land where happiness will arrive someday when everything is finally perfect. Life is actually much simpler. The future is not built tomorrow. It is quietly created by the small actions we take today. Every decision, every habit, every step, no matter how ordinary, is like a brick laid in the foundation of the days yet to come. People are often caught in procrastination. We think a small change today is not big enough to make a difference, like a single drop of water falling into the ocean. But time has a silent magic. Those tiny drops, falling steadily, can wear away even the hardest stone. 1 hour of study today, one kind decision today, one persistent effort today, all of them accumulate, like the dawn, gradually spreading across the sky. At first, only a faint glow, but soon the whole new day will blaze from it. People do not change their lives through rare, grand moments, but through actions repeated every single day. Today is the small key that opens the door to tomorrow. When we choose to be a little better, try a little harder, and be a little more patient, we are quietly rewriting our own story. The future is not a ready-made gift waiting for us. It is a garden being planted right now in the present. And when we tend that garden with the right actions today, tomorrow is no longer vague. It becomes the season of flowers, slowly blooming from the seeds we planted with our own hands. Impossible is just a big word thrown around by small people. Muhammad Ali, impossible, is not just a word. It is an invisible lock placed on the door of willpower. People who fear change often use that word like a shield to protect their comfort. They look at high mountains and quickly conclude the path is unreachable. But what they are really protecting is not truth. It is their fear of failure. Smallness does not lie in ability, but in how people define their own limits. When someone calls something impossible, they are unconsciously drawing a line around their own imagination, like a person standing before the ocean, yet believing the world ends at the sand beneath their feet. In reality, human history has been written by those who refused to accept that word. Every invention, every great leap forward began with a bold thought that what seemed impossible was still worth trying. Impossible is often not a verdict of reality, but a verdict of mindset. An open mind sees a challenge as a door yet to be opened, while a fearful mind sees only a wall. It is that difference in perspective that determines the stature of a human being. Those who dare to dream big do not do so because they are certain of success, but because they understand that the real limits of a person lie not in ability, but in the courage to try. The power of mindset. When people refuse to let the word impossible define their world, they are like those who widen the sky for their own wings. And in that sky, things once considered impossible sometimes turn out to be dreams, simply waiting for a heart big enough to make them real. Don't spend so much time dreaming that you forget to live. Walt Disney. Humans are creatures of dreams. We have the power to paint skies wider than reality, where anything can happen. Yet, that beautiful power can sometimes become an invisible cocoon. When we become too lost in the visions inside our heads, real life, with its breathing, its people, and its opportunities unfolding right before our eyes, can be forgotten. Like an open book no one reads, dreaming is often a safe refuge. In the world of imagination, we can be anyone and achieve anything without facing failure or difficulty. But that safety comes at a price. A dream that never touches the ground of action is like a kite without a string. It flies high, but eventually drifts away into empty space. Real life, though imperfect, is the only place where dreams can be touched, tested, and gradually turned into reality. A dream is the flame that lights a person's path, but that flame needs to be placed inside the lantern of action and discipline. When dream and reality meet, they create a powerful current. Imagination gives us direction, and real life gives us the footsteps to move forward. Dream, but do not fall asleep inside the dream. Let imagination expand your vision, but let your feet walk firmly in the real world. Because in the end, life is not built from what we imagine, but from what we dare to live and do every single day.